Good morning, everyone. Another new day, and unfortunately I missed the apex of the sunrise, but I want to show you what I'm looking at this morning. The sun falling on that mountain, and you can see the very last of sunrise in that orange band that's coming up. So this morning it is 35 degrees and it's chilly. It's not too windy, it's a little breezy. It's supposed to be sunny all day long today, which I'm really excited about. It's supposed to rain tomorrow. I feel like I'm always saying it's going to rain tomorrow, but it always rains tomorrow. I am hiking from Beauty Spot Gap today to Clyde. I think it's Clyde Mountain Shelter. I'm not sure. Clyde Mountain Shelter. It's a 14.4 mile hike. It's going to be my longest hike with a backpack on. And it's, I believe, 2,700 feet of elevation that I'll be hiking today, and 2,600 and something descent today. I'll correct those down at the bottom if they're incorrect. And they probably are, but they'll be close. So this is going to be a big hike for me today. I've had to mentally prepare for this. I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to fib. I'm a little intimidated, but I'm going to do it. So come on, let's go. Let's get started. Let's go hike. Hello, sun. Good morning. So there are a lot of rocks and boulders to go over today. A lot of tree roots. Look at this forest. Oh. Wow. This is incredible. Those are baby pine trees. And these look like rocks, but they're not. They are some kind of moss. I just punctured it right there. The forest floor is so green. There's that little bit of light that's coming through. It looks like more on the camera. It's really not that much. Sometimes I wish the camera didn't correct the lighting, because there's no way you can appreciate how dark this forest is light-wise. I'm not elbow to elbow, but this is certainly awesome. Hiking in between these trees. It's gorgeous. Very different. This is actually charming. Look how that moss has grown up on top of the tree roots. This is where it just come from. That's where we're going. So today is a day of roots and rocks. Roots and rocks, people. I have come out of the forest, that magical forest, and as I always do, to include the sun, because I love it. That's the view from the ridgeline. Well, I have to say, this is just a bit disappointing. I'm just hiking on a regular trail. Not a lot of tree branches. Hardly any rocks. No mud. Nothing slippery. Well, we'll see how long this lasts. I'm sure those rocks are waiting for me right around the bend. Yep. And I want to just point out, I had a viewer tell me, in a very kind way, you just need to lift your feet up a little bit higher when you're walking, so those branches, not branches, I always say that, I mean roots, so that the roots aren't tripping you. Let me tell you something. That is true. Very good advice. But when those roots are covered up with a ton of leaves, it's kind of hard to know how high to pick up your foot. And that's where I always get whammied. I got that yesterday. Tree root did not take me all the way out, but I tripped pretty bad. My hiking pole saved me. So that viewer was completely correct. However, you know, nature likes to play pranks. And if you think about it, when is April Fool's? By the time you all see this, it will have passed. But today is March 30th. It's coming up. So you know some trees got it out for me somewhere. It's just waiting for me. Wait if you will, I say. I've got my eyes open. This is what my little grandson does whenever he wants to make sure that he knows I'm watching him, he'll go. So that's what I'm saying to the trees. I'm watching you. I was talking to my husband last night, and he started laughing, and he said, you do know people can hear your music through your headphones, right? I said, I did not realize that until 2 or 3 days ago when I was reviewing. Okay, that was a rock. Tripped me. What was I saying? He said, you do realize people can hear you. And I said, yeah. A couple of days ago, I was editing a video, and I heard the music in the background, and there was nothing I could do about it. So the next day, I was kind of trying to pay attention, trying to figure out, really, how did that music get on the video like that? And I can tell you how it happens. When I'm talking to you all, if you see a earbud inside of my ear, my music is still playing, or my audiobook. But the other one, I don't walk with 2 of them in so I can hear what's going on in front of me, around me, behind me, with my other ear. That one is in my fanny pack. So you're hearing the music that's coming out of that earphone in the fanny pack. Sorry, I hope that's not too distracting. It is, I take the camera out so often because I see interesting things. And to try and stop my audiobook or my music, it takes a minute. Because the way I have it tucked in my fanny pack. So that's why you can hear it. So, I hope you're enjoying what you're listening to, because I have the best music ever on my iPod. When I was hiking yesterday, and I met Slobo, No Rush, the last 2022 solo hiker. Man, that guy was a character. He was funny. When I left, he said, as the late, great John Lennon said, and he started quoting John Lennon to me. I thought that was funny. I said, you know, I have some of his music on my iPod, and he said, well, then I thoroughly approve of your music choices. I thought, okay. Renee, I shared with you, stayed at Uncle Johnny's one night, and she stayed in the bunkhouse. And I have to say, how do I say this? I'm not sure that some hostels would remain open if it was required for a health inspector to come out. Let's just leave it at that. Well, she stayed in the bunkhouse, and I got there the next day, and I had a small cabin, and she said, "Can I stay with you tonight?" I said, "Well, yeah, you can stay with me tonight. Of course you can." So we kind of shared the cost of the cabin. I said, why are you not wanting to stay where you are? She said, "Come on in here," because that was a phone call. I walked into that bunkhouse. It did not have a doorknob on the bunkhouse. I walked in, and the smell was special. It was special. It was more than special. And she said, my mattress, which was a 5 or 6 inch mattress, when I laid down on it, it went all the way down to the bottom of the bed. I started laughing. I thought that was hysterical, especially the look that was on her face. She said, "Nonnie, I got up, I blew up my air mattress, I put that down so I could sleep in my sleeping bag on top of it, and then she was kind of like in a curve like this with her air mattress." By the time she was finished telling me the story, I was crying. I was laughing so hard. I said, "I just think you need to stay in the bunkhouse. I don't want you in the cabin." And she gave me the look. And I said, "Come on." So, anyway, she came and stayed in the cabin with me. And I think I've already told you that we went out to eat. We went and had Mexican food in town. We got a shuttle, split the cost of a shuttle, and went to Walmart, which was wonderful because we both needed to resupply. And most of the hostels around here won't shuttle you for free into town. You have to pay for it. The next day, we all slack packed the next day. But slack packing is an interesting thing. There's so many different ways that you can do it. I slack packed, and I was hiking Sobo that day. So I was dropped off at a certain point. They slack packed, but at the end of the day, the contents of their backpacks were going to be delivered to their end destination, just so they didn't have to carry the load that day. But they weren't coming back. They were just going to be going on north. Well, they hiked and got up to Beauty Spot Gap. And once they got up there, it was no shelter, no privy, no water source, which they knew that before they left. But what they didn't know is that it was going to be raining and hailing. And at the end of the day, they weren't going to use their stoves to cook inside of their tents. And she looked at the other two guys, George and Walt, Badlands. Walt is Badlands. And said, "What are we doing? We have a shuttle driver right here. He brought us the contents of our bag. Let's just go back to Uncle Johnny's." Well, I guess they called first. I'm not sure how that worked. But they came back, and she texted me and said, "Can I stay with you tonight?" And I'm like, "What's wrong? You're not supposed to be here." So she explained it to me. And I said, "Well, of course, you can stay here tonight." So she had the choice of a twin day bed or a sofa. She slept on the sofa both nights. But we had some time to spend together, and it was really nice to have some girl time and be able to visit with her and get to know her a little bit better. We had fun. He was saying that those snakes in this area, I don't know if he meant everywhere or just here, when the babies are born in their dens, a pheromone is released, I guess, by the mother, and the babies memorize that pheromone, and they return to that den or stay near that den for the rest of their lives. And that if you take one of those snakes and relocate it to another area, it will spend its life trying to get back to the den where it was born, and most of the time they die because they can't reach it, and they just won't live without it. So I thought that was fascinating. But I'll say this. Those little snakes, I don't know where their dens are, but they can just stay in there and be happy and stay near home. And, you know, I'll respect their space, and hopefully I'll be able to carry on without meeting one. This is a very, very beautiful trail. No kidding. Super easy to walk on. It's awesome. It is so sunshiny and bright and beautiful and clear. The air is still crisp and fresh. This is incredible. Serendipitous into a sentence about the mountains. I've been pondering on that one. That might have to be, I don't know if I can use that word. We'll see. If I can use it, I will. But, hey, there's a cabin. There's a shelter right there. I didn't know I'd already hiked this far. Okay, let's go look at it. Anyway, squirrel, sorry. So, thank you for sending me the suggestions for the words. I will try and use those and incorporate those into my language. Now I want to give you an update on Judith. Judith. She's my 100% disabled veteran from the Vietnam era. Do you know that Judith doesn't just like chocolate? She likes licorice, black licorice jelly beans. Disgusting. I found 2 pounds of those things in my pack this morning. First of all, I was disgusted because it could have been hot tamales. No, she chose black licorice jelly beans. Judith, I'm telling you, I'm keeping an eye on you. Right on the trail. I'm always intrigued with these shelters that are like right on the trail instead of you having to hike back 0.10 or 0.2 to get to it. Wow, this place is like spickety span. It is tidy. Wowzers. Okay, let's go see what shelter this is. Well, it's got a fire ring. Looks like it'll sleep six or 7 people. I'll have to look. They've got a, holy cow, they've got a rake and a shovel. I haven't seen a rake and a shovel since I've been on trail. Not a rake. And a broom with a handle. What a luxury. Listen. Can you hear the woodpecker? This is a very nice shelter. Okay. Here. This is Cherry Gap Shelter, and it is it has water source, but it does not have a privy, nor does it have bear hangs. And they need to come in here and paint those walls. There's some really nasty things in there. That's disgusting. But the rest of this is very, very nice. And it sleeps 6. We have 9 more miles to go before we get to Clyde Smith Shelter. I think earlier I said Clyde Mountain Shelter. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes in the morning I'm not at my best. And I do want to say this one thing. Judith, I realize it might be Sloth, because Sloth is pretty low right now, but he's a prankster. Sloth could have done it. Remember what I said in another video about getting the whole story before you blame somebody? I'm going to find out who did it, and one of you is going to get a good talking to. I hope y'all are having a good day. Sloth, I'm thinking about you, and Judith, I'm thinking about you too. And A.T. Gracie, thank you for writing me, for sending me a poem. I've been thinking about you, and I hope you're doing well also. Look at that. That is pretty. I love it whenever I see that the clubs that take care of the trails do this. I just think that's incredibly kind and nice. I saw one the other day. It was raining. I couldn't take a picture of it. It said LNT. And I was like, what does that mean? It took about a mile for me to figure out it was leave no trace. Sometimes I'm just a little slow. I don't know what to tell you. So I've come up to this road that says Pisgah National Forest. I'm 8.3 miles in, and I need to cross the road. The blaze is over there on that tree by that sign that says no horses allowed. Okay. 14.4. We've got a ways to go. Here's a beautiful new sign. That is awesome. That Appalachian Trail symbol is 10 that's been nailed into the wood. That is really, really nice. I'm 8 3/4 mile into the hike, and there's the blaze up there on that tree. I've got a 1,700 foot ascent coming up. Look at this. This is what I'm hiking on. Wow. I'm telling you, I think it's been a while since I've said I've had a fanny smacker. This one's it. I've got 830 more feet of ascent. I'm 10 3/4 miles into this. I got 14.4 miles. I'm exhausted. This has been hard, but I finally summited one of these little hill mountain monoliths. So I'm going to show you this rock formation. I think it's pretty cool. That is incredible. You know, when you think about how those rock formations came about with tectonic plates and them crashing together, and that's pretty awesome. All right. Nonnie is tired. Ugh. Okay, here we go. 700 feet of descent. Yay! Woo! We've come to Gracie Creek Gap, elevation 4,031. There are a lot of nice tent sites here and a fire pit. It is 2 more miles until we get to the shelter. And I guess this is Tiger Creek to the left and Gracie Creek to the right. Clyde Smith Shelter. Thank you, sweet baby Jesus. Oh.